right now.
I'm not great.
Come on.
On the spot.
Come
no.
on,
If I'm rambling, by the way, you can just tell me to shut up. But don't lie to the people. You know what I mean? Same haircut. Which leg? He's gonna come hump my leg, put his penis on my leg. All right. My name is Andrew Rivers. I've been doing comedy for 7 years. I got laid off from a job, and so I started doing comedy just to kind of get out of the house. I never really realized, like, I didn't know this was a job. Like, no one told me that you could get paid. So, like, I think it was a surprise when someone gave me money, and then I was kind of like, yeah. I think after like 2 years, I ran out of unemployment, and I was like, well, here goes nothing, you know? And it's sort of a sink or swim mentality. Like, if you want this to happen, it will, you know what I mean? Or you'll find out real quick that you're not good enough. I was at a marketing agency, so I had this moment at my job right before they laid me off, and I was like, a sunny day, which we don't get in Seattle, and I was like, man, like, I don't want to sit at this computer for my whole life. And then they laid me off like 2 weeks later, and I was like, wait, no, I will totally sit at this computer for a little while longer. Just give me notice, and I can work something out, you know, because I was like, I think my last paycheck I spent on rims for my car or whatever. So, like, I was an idiot. Comedy appealed to me because I like being self-employed. I liked the idea of I'm in charge. I can look at my calendar and say, oh, I've been slacking because I don't have enough gigs coming up. So, or I can look at my set and be like, this joke isn't really where I want it to be. And I go, well, what have I been doing? Playing Call of Duty all day. Well, okay, I should spend some time on it. If I fail, it's my own fault. Whereas this other thing, I was working, because this was the safe route, right? This was the safe route, is someone else's job, you get benefits and insurance and whatever, and a 401k and steady paycheck. But then I got nothing to show for it. At the end of the day, I had 2 weeks pay, so I had nothing. And then I was back out on the job market. The funny story is that I had an interview a couple weeks later at a bigger agency. They're like an hour late bringing me back for the interview, and then I go, hey, do I need to bring anything? Should I bring my resume? No, we got everything, just show up. And I should have brought stuff anyway, but I show up, and then the lady, she brings me back, she's like, sorry, the guy who was supposed to interview you had a family emergency, so I'm gonna do the interview. Do you have your resume and everything? And I'm, no, the guy told me not. And she was like, yeah, that's fine, you know, whatever. So it's kind of awkward because she doesn't know what to ask me. She doesn't know really what she's supposed to say. And then I'm reading off of her energy, so I'm kind of nervous. And I'm like, oh, no. And so we kind of get our way through it fumbly, and it goes okay. But at the end of the interview, she goes, is your brother Keith? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, tell him hi. I haven't talked to him in a while. And I'm like, oh, that could be good, you know. So I call my brother. I'm like, hey, this girl at this job said hi, and he goes, yeah, you're not getting the job. And there's some girl he had a one-night stand with that he just never called back, and so just fate would have it that I just don't get that job. And then I just started doing comedy a couple weeks later, and and it worked out. There's a Jim Carrey quote which is really famous, where it's like, you can fail at something you don't want to do, so you might as well fail at something you want to be doing. Failure to me, you only fail if you quit trying. So that's how I believe. Like, I would fail at this interview if I gave up, but I'm going to push through it. A friend of mine gave me a piece that I kind of go to in times of need, where it's like, whatever you can't stop thinking about, write about. So you kind of take whatever you're feeling and try to go, how can I relate it to people? I like to tell stories, and I like long, because to me it's a complicated thought. Like, if I talk about politics, I have an opinion, but I also I'm a conflicted person. I'm a person that believes one thing, but I also kind of get the other side, and I kind of see where you're coming from. So whenever I talk about something, I like to explore all sides of it and go. So for instance, with a story, if there's a story that I want to tell, I just write out the facts. This is exactly what happened. I don't try to be funny. I don't try to add jokes. I just write it out. And so after every sentence, there should be a joke, because otherwise, why is it in there? And so you go line by line and you fill it out. And if you can't think of a joke for that sentence, maybe you don't even need that in there. And that's a good way to trim that out. So then you go back over and go, okay, what's a better joke, and what's a better joke, and what's a better joke? And then eventually you have this 8 to 10 minute thing that's just full of jokes. Like I have like a 10-minute chunk on politics right now, and it's fun to do because sometimes people yell out, and I'm like, no, I'm just trying to tell jokes, you know? Like, and that's the joke I do is like, oh, no one yells out in a dick joke and goes, boo, you know? I'm like, well, it's got great approval ratings. Comedy means to me. It's very exciting. It's very cool. I mean, that's what we were talking about earlier. You get to express your emotions and your opinions, and you get to do it in an amusing way. And so, that's the coolest thing is when people come up. By the way. Thank you. And when people come up to you and they say like, "Oh, like I've been struggling with that sort of thing too," you know, stick with it.
I just put my penis on his leg. He didn't budge one bit. Professional.
No, I'm not worried about it. You know.
Very good.
Thank you.
Cancer.
Yeah. Or whatever. You can talk, but you can make any topic. Yeah. That's why I believe any topic is funny. It's like everyone's.
Cancer.
Yeah, even cancer if you want.
There it is. Way to be.